What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to my vlog, and I'm going to talk about something that, honestly, I wanted to talk about way back during my summer Hot Topic series, but I realized it wasn't really that hot of a topic for most people. It was more just something that kind of gets me a little riled up. Um, but it, the issue has come to my attention again recently, so I figured I would talk a little bit about this. And I guess the main theme topic of this is really, I guess, kind of age conflict. Um, Really, mostly when it comes to, like, older generations with millennials. And I'm air quoting millennials for a reason. I'll get to that a little bit later. Whether it's younger people thinking older people are just kind of stuck up, stubborn, backwards, and kind of messing us up, you know, making the job market practically non existent. So then, everything's super competitive, or, making it so that even entry level jobs have to have some sort of college education attached, which just puts us massively in student debt, and just all these other things that, you know, young people, or at least a fair number of them, kind of want to just blame on older generations for kind of making this the standard of how things are, or setting us up a certain way. I say us because, I mean, me being the age that I am, I technically fit into what most people describe as millennials. But then there's the flip side of it, where, older people, like baby boomer generation or older, tend to very much look down on millennials. Again, millennials, air quote, and say that, oh, they're emotional wimps who need safe spaces because words hurt, or, how they're lazy and, don't want to work for anything, and, that's why they're not getting jobs, or, just other things of that sort. And honestly, that's what I see far more on social media, because most of the people that I know in my age group are not like the millennials that all y'all older people keep talking about. Really, the big point that I think I want to make here is that really all of this does nothing. It helps no one. All this bickering and bantering over, how one generation is screwing another one over, or, how a young generation just needs to build a bridge and get over it, whatever the heck it is. And none of it helps, because all of it is just complaining. Complaining gets nobody anywhere. Instead, try to do something to help the situation. If you're on the younger side of things like I am, you just gotta, in some cases, just kind of put your head down, do what you can to make a living for yourself, and, bear through what you need to then hopefully get to what you're actually aiming for. Or if you're, on the older side of things, a person that tends to complain about younger people, rather than just complaining, maybe you should actually, talk to them, get to know them, see what they're having problems with, and try to help them. Okay, really, when it comes to the whole generation concept, what baffles me about all this is that the concept of, like, social generations, I guess I'd say, the labels of, like, baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, all that kind of stuff. None of that actually really exists. You see, the concept of social generations, I'm going to call them, it was created by some psychologist or sociologist, basically somebody who was doing research on, different things and wanted to have a way to label particular age groups. That's really all that it was created for. And since then, people have taken that and massively overused it, misused it, and twisted it around. And now you've got people that literally, the moment one generation is done, they're wanting to find a label for the next generation. But really, the idea of generations came about as a thing. It started really purely within the context of looking at a particular lineage, a certain family tree, and saying, okay, this person was the son of this person who married this person, and that she was this person's daughter, all that kind of stuff, just to keep track of a particular lineage. That's really where the concept of any kind of generation came from. And it works within keeping track of a certain family, but when trying to use it in mass with a whole bunch of different families that are having kids at all sorts of different years, days, times, it doesn't work so well, because there's like all this overlap, crossover, where the heck do you cut off this particular generation kind of questions that happen. And so from the standpoint of social generations, as we tend to look at them, it just doesn't work. And it's ridiculous how these labels have come to defy these massive groups of people in the minds of our culture. And come on, you couldn't think of a better name than Gen X to come up with after the baby boomers, really? There's got to be a better name for that somewhere. Except the problem is that you're trying to label a generation before they're even done contributing to society. They haven't lived long enough to really have that one defining thing about them that says, okay, this is what this age group should be known for. And you also run into the problem of, okay, where's the cutoff from one generation to the next? Because different people will give different answers to that question. I've Google searched it and looked at 5 different results, and every single one of them had a different answer to the question. Even just ignoring that, having this concept of generations and trying to label them as a certain type of person, having a certain personality, just because of when they were born, it leaves people that are, in kind of near the edges of those generations, or even just within a particular one, but doesn't behave like that generation. It leaves massive groups of people feeling kind of lost and okay, where are my people at, yo? There's so many problems with this whole idea of these social generations. And, what good does it do? Other than for research and study to label the different age groups, what does it do for us? Nothing. There's literally zero that this helps us. All it does is drive us further apart, give us another group of people to say, boy, I'm glad I'm not them. or another group of people to point the finger at and say, hey, you need to fix this, or something like that. It just tears us further apart. And we don't need more things to tear us further apart. As we've seen from this past election cycle, we're already divided enough as it is. We don't need more ways to divide ourselves. Just one last kind of train of thought that I have in regards to this. Going back kind of to the, especially to the older people looking down on the younger generations, we've hardly been able to do much as a generation to really establish ourselves, and yet you're already trying to say that we're a lost cause in a sense. A lot of people are. A lot of older people are. All this stuff that I'm seeing on Facebook about millennials is saying something to that effect. When, first of all, that's not even true of really most of the people I know in my age group. But also, again, rather than assuming it's a lost cause, get out there and freaking help these people. That's the biggest reason why I am pursuing youth ministry as a career. The main motivation that I have for this is so that I can help build these people up, especially from a spiritual standpoint, but even in other ways, help build up people younger than me and get them well established in their lives, because at some point or another, these people are going to be the ones that are the driving forces in our country and in our world. So rather than just assuming we're a lost cause, maybe take some time to get to know us and figure out how we can step it up if we need to. It's the biggest, well, one of the biggest problems with our culture these days is we've become a culture that complains and then doesn't do anything. If you really have a major issue with something, then fix it, or at least help to fix it. So anyway, I think I've said my piece on all that. Yeah. As you can tell, something I get a little heated up about. That's why I considered it for the Hot Topics series, but maybe this is just me. I don't know. Feel free to leave me a comment on whether you agree that this is an issue that needs to be stopped or solved or done something with. As usual, like and share if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel to see more of my stuff as I'm posting it. Yeah. I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Later.